Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Jill's return to Young and Restless brings trouble. Billy refuses to give her answers, puts Kane in the middle. The Young and the Restless, Y&R, spoilers tease that tense drama is ahead on the CBS soap opera. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, refuses to tell his mother, Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, about Chance Chancellor's, Connor Floyd, murder. Get updates on the latest news about the Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? He knows that his mother will come unglued. More than his mother's reaction, he fears how Nina Webster, Trisha Cast, will react to the news. Billy will ask Kane to call his mother to deliver the crushing blow. Y&R spoilers state that Kane hasn't talked to Jill in quite a while, so the viewers can expect the phone call to be awkward to say the least. Jill's return to Young and Restless brings trouble. Billy refuses to give her answers, puts Kane in the middle. Jill Abbott's return to Genoa City was anything but a quiet homecoming. The air was charged with tension as soon as she walked into Chancellor Winters, her sharp eyes immediately recognizing the fractures within the company and the family. But the biggest challenge came not from the business, but from her own flesh and blood. Billy Abbott, ever the rebel in the family, stood as her greatest obstacle. What Jill didn't expect was the chain of events her return would trigger, bringing back old ghosts, reigniting unresolved conflicts, and dragging Kane Ashby squarely into the chaos. It started with a board meeting. Jill's sudden reappearance came with demands, expectations, and ultimatums. She expected updates, answers, and accountability from her son Billy, who had been managing the company with a loose grip and even looser priorities. But Billy, ever the wild card, gave her nothing but deflection. When Jill pressed harder, demanding to know what was really going on between him and Lily, between Chancellor Winters and the Abbotts, between his personal life and his professional failings, Billy did what he does best, he pushed back. "I don't answer to you, Mother," Billy snapped, crossing his arms defiantly across his chest in the middle of the conference room, with Devon, Nate, and Lily looking on in discomfort. "This isn't some little game you get to parachute into and take over." Jill's glare could cut glass. "It's not a game when my company's future is on the line, Billy," she said with steel in her voice. "And if you won't give me answers, I'll find someone who will." And that's exactly what she did. The very next day, Jill arranged a private lunch at Society, with Kane Ashby. The man who had once been her son-in-law, her protégé, and the one person she knew could sniff out truth when Billy started spinning stories. Kane hadn't been in the thick of the drama lately, but Jill pulled him back in with a single phone call. "Why me?" Kane asked cautiously, sipping his espresso as Jill's sharp eyes bore into his. "Because you know Billy better than most. Because you're smart. And because you're the only one who might still care enough to find out what he's hiding." Kane leaned back, clearly torn. He'd been trying to stay out of the Abbott-Chancellor drama. After his own rocky past, he had rebuilt his life with quiet effort. But Jill's appeal wasn't just about business, it was personal. He still had a soft spot for her. And he'd seen Billy spiral enough times to know something serious was brewing beneath the surface. Back at the Abbott mansion, Billy was already feeling the heat. Lily was growing impatient, his relationships were unraveling, and Devon had started distancing himself. Billy sensed Jill wouldn't stop until she got the answers she wanted, and with Kane sniffing around, things were only going to get messier. Billy tried to get ahead of it. He paid Kane a visit at his apartment, all charm and false sincerity. "Don't let her use you, man," Billy said, his tone deceptively calm. "Whatever Jill's feeding you, it's just her usual manipulation. You know how she operates." But Kane wasn't convinced. "Then give me something real, Billy. Set the record straight." Billy shook his head. "No. I don't owe her that, and I sure as hell don't owe you that." The standoff escalated quickly. Jill, unsatisfied with Kane's limited findings, decided to do her own digging. She pulled files, scheduled meetings, questioned Lily and even tried to corner Devon, who warned her not to push too hard. But Jill was relentless. When she found discrepancies in the quarterly reports and unapproved expenditures tied to one of Billy's pet projects, a mysterious, wellness retreat initiative with no paper trail and little ROI, she knew something was off. She confronted Billy again, this time in private. "Are you laundering something?" she asked coldly. Billy laughed in disbelief. "Wow, really? You think I'm that desperate?" Jill's expression didn't waver. "I think you've always had a self-destructive streak. And I think you've made a mess you don't know how to clean up. If I'm wrong, prove it." Billy stormed out without another word. Meanwhile, Kane made progress on his own. He traced the wellness project to a shady consultant firm based out of Los Angeles, one that had no verifiable staff or legitimate history. More troubling, the funds allocated to this firm matched up with recent movements in Billy's personal bank account. The plot thickened when Kane caught Billy in a secret meeting with Audra Charles. Yes, that Audra. Her presence raised more red flags. Audra had recently been ousted from Newman Media and had been laying low, but her involvement in Billy's retreat scheme pointed to something darker, an inside con. Jill had been right to worry. Kane shared his findings with Jill, who immediately called for an emergency board meeting. Billy, cornered and furious, showed up with every intention of denying everything. But this time, the evidence was too damning. Jill laid it all out: fake companies, unauthorized transfers, and backdoor dealings with Audra Charles. The room was dead silent when she finished. Billy stared at Kane, betrayal in his eyes. "You really did it. You chose her side." Kane stood firm. "I chose the truth. You were going to burn everything down." After the meeting, Jill removed Billy from his leadership role, placing Lily and Devon in charge of restructuring the damaged sectors. But the emotional damage was harder to repair. Billy left the meeting without saying another word, vanishing from Genoa City later that night. In the aftermath, Jill tried to thank Kane, but he wasn't so quick to accept her gratitude. "You put me in the middle of a war," he said bluntly. "I did the right thing, but I didn't come out of this clean." Jill nodded. "Maybe not. But sometimes the right thing hurts." With Billy gone, Chancellor Winters slowly started to stabilize. Jill worked behind the scenes, helping Lily and Devon put safeguards in place. But she couldn't help but wonder where her son had gone, or what he was planning next. Because Billy Abbott never stayed away for long. Meanwhile, Audra Charles was also gone. She'd left Genoa City 2 days after Billy's ouster, leaving only a cryptic note for Tucker McCall and no forwarding address. Was she working with Billy on something bigger? Or was she running from the fallout? Kane returned to his own life, but the storm had changed him. The old wounds were reopened, and even as he tried to move on, whispers about Billy's final project, and Jill's role in exposing it, lingered in every corner of town. Then came the anonymous email. Jill received it late one evening. No sender. Just a single line: "You thought it was over. It's just beginning." Attached was a surveillance photo of Billy, taken in what looked like a desert compound, standing beside a new, unfamiliar woman, and smiling. Jill's blood ran cold. Was her son planning revenge? Was the wellness retreat a front for something deeper? Or had she finally pushed Billy too far? Back in Genoa City, tension simmered. Kane kept his distance but kept his ears open. Devon, Lily, and Nate held the company together with grit and strategy. But Jill knew, Billy would be back. And next time, the stakes would be even higher. Because with Billy Abbott, the fallout never ends with exile. It ends in war. And Kane? He wasn't done with the Abbotts. Not by a long shot. Billy refuses to call his mom. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Billy refuses to notify Jill that Chance has been murdered by Carter, Vincent Stalba. Billy fears his mother's reaction and doesn't want her to blame him in any way. If history repeats itself, Billy knows that Jill will find a way to blame him for Chance's death. Jill won't understand Billy's actions, especially his plot to steal Chancellor Industries from Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. She will assume her son is up to his shady schemes and won't follow through with any sort of action. What is this? Jill's frustration with Billy is evident. He rarely finishes anything he starts. Then he abandons the projects and whines if she holds him accountable for his actions. Now, Chance is dead, and while Billy had nothing to do with it, his plot to take over Chancellor Industries will put Jill in a bad mood. She sold the company to Victor Newman, Eric Braden, for Nikki to run. If she wanted Billy to run it, she would have allowed him to stay in power at the company. Y&R, Billy refuses to call his mom, Jill's heartbreak and his secret plan exposed. The residents of Genoa City are no strangers to conflict, but few rivalries are as deep or emotionally charged as the one between Jill Abbott and her son, Billy. In a shocking turn of events, The Young and the Restless takes a dramatic detour as Billy Abbott refuses to even call his mother Jill, cutting her off completely in a cold, calculated move that stuns family, friends, and rivals alike. The decision isn't just personal, it's tied to something much bigger, a secret Billy has been keeping, one that could upend the Abbott family legacy and send shockwaves through Chancellor Winters. It all begins with silence. Jill, known for her unrelenting energy and sharp instincts, has been trying for weeks to reach Billy after hearing whispers about his erratic behavior and troubling choices at Chancellor Winters. Phone calls go unanswered. Texts are left on read. When she sends him a direct email requesting a status update on his consulting work and a clarification on the company's slipping performance in Q2, she's met with silence. That's when Jill starts to worry. To everyone around her, Jill puts on a brave face. She assures Lily and Devon that she's sure Billy's just working through things, and probably needs space. But privately, she's furious, and deeply hurt. Their relationship has always been volatile, filled with moments of affection tangled with years of disappointment. But this? This is something new. A total freeze-out. Lily tries to intervene, visiting Billy and urging him to call his mother. But Billy shrugs it off. She doesn't want to understand me, he says flatly. She just wants control. She always has. Lily doesn't know the full story. No one does, except Billy. Behind the scenes, Billy's silence isn't just emotional avoidance. It's strategic. He's sitting on a time bomb of a secret, one that could either save or destroy what's left of his reputation. For months, Billy has been working with an underground investor group tied to an international fintech company that wants to buy a controlling interest in Chancellor Winters. The catch? They need someone inside the company to facilitate the deal without the board finding out. And Billy said yes. Why? Because he believes Chancellor Winters is too bloated, too distracted, and too tied to the past to compete in the next era of business. He wants to streamline it, transform it into a lean, cutting-edge machine, and he's convinced these shadow investors are the only way to make it happen. But he knows if Jill finds out, she'll kill the deal, and kill him in the process. So he refuses to talk to her. Because if he hears her voice, he might cave. And if she knows what he's doing, she'll never forgive him. Meanwhile, Jill is done waiting. She returns to Genoa City unannounced, storming into Chancellor Winters with the fury of a mother scorned. She demands answers from Lily, from Devon, from Nate, even from Audra, who raises an eyebrow but says nothing. But no one knows what's going on with Billy. At Society, Jill vents to Victor Newman, who listens with interest. Victor has always seen potential in Billy, even if he's also seen the recklessness. But even he is surprised at the level of radio silence. He's isolating, Victor says. And when Billy isolates, he's either spiraling, or scheming. That only deepens Jill's concern. She corners Kane Ashby next, an old ally, former son-in-law, and someone who still knows how Billy thinks. Kane resists at first. He's tried to distance himself from the drama. But Jill's desperation touches him. He hasn't called, not once? Kane asks. Not even for Mother's Day, Jill whispers, tears in her eyes. Can you imagine? Kane agrees to dig quietly. He starts by following Billy's paper trail and quickly finds signs that something isn't right. Strange wire transfers. Meetings in secret. And most suspicious of all, a non-disclosure agreement signed by Billy and a consulting group based in Singapore. At the same time, Billy begins distancing himself from Lily. He cancels dinners, avoids board meetings, and begins traveling, for business, without telling anyone where he's going. Lily catches him at the Grand Phoenix once with a mysterious woman, later revealed to be the legal liaison for the Singapore investors. When she confronts him, Billy doesn't deny it. You're making moves behind our backs, Lily says, her voice trembling. You're going to destroy everything we built. I'm going to save it, Billy replies. From people who are too afraid to evolve. Lily reports back to Jill, who is now boiling with betrayal. But still, no call. Not a text. Not a word. That night, Jill shows up at Billy's apartment. She doesn't knock, she uses the key he never took back. She finds him alone, surrounded by financial spreadsheets, investor files, and a half-packed suitcase. I deserve better than this, she says. Billy doesn't even look up. You always think you deserve better. But maybe the problem isn't what I give you, it's what you expect. You think you're saving this company? Jill hisses. You're selling your soul. And for what? Some vision you cooked up without anyone's input? Billy stands slowly. I'm done asking for permission. From you. From Lily. From anyone. Jill walks toward the door, holding back tears. You don't even have the decency to call me. I'm not that boy anymore, Billy says. And you're not the mother I need. The words hit like a dagger. Days later, the news hits the media. A mysterious investment firm is in talks to acquire part of Chancellor Winters. Lily, Devon, and Nate are blindsided. Jill is furious. And Billy? He disappears again, this time for good. He leaves behind only a letter, addressed not to Jill, but to Kane. I knew she'd come to you, it reads. Tell her this was never about hurting her. It was about finally stepping out from her shadow. Kane gives the letter to Jill, who reads it in silence. For a moment, she doesn't speak. Then she folds the letter, places it in her purse, and walks away. But Jill Abbott doesn't give up easily. The final scene shows her meeting with Victor, Nikki, and Jack at Newman Towers. Jill's tone is icy, her words deliberate. I want Billy found. I want Chancellor Winters protected. And I want my son to remember who made him. The battle lines are drawn. Because if Billy Abbott thinks refusing to call his mother ends the story, he has no idea what's coming next. Jill's war is just beginning. Ask ChatGPT. Jill returns for Chance Memorial and Billy Showdown. It seems likely that Jill will return to Genoa City for Chance's funeral. She will pay her respects to her grandson and check in with Billy. The Young and the Restless spoilers state that Billy might give Jill the heads up that he is going after Chancellor Industries. For all we know, Billy might even inform her of his partnership with Kane. If he does, Jill will likely come unglued, knowing Kane is a con man and cannot be trusted. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal some tense moments are ahead on the CBS soap opera. Keep watching to see how it all plays out. Y&R fans, do you think Jill will return for Chance's funeral? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Remember to watch The Young and the Restless, airing weekdays on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. Jill returns for Chance Memorial and Billy showdown. Genoa City is reeling as the tragic news of Chance Chancellor's death spreads like wildfire, sending shockwaves through Chancellor Winters, the Abbott family, and everyone connected to the Chancellor legacy. The man who always tried to do right by his family, who upheld honor in a world full of secrets and schemes, is gone. And while the town mourns, a storm is brewing that no one saw coming, Jill Abbott's return. But she's not just back to grieve her beloved grandson. She's come for answers. And the person she holds most responsible for the unraveling of everything Chancellor built, is her son, Billy Abbott. The announcement of Chance's memorial service brings the entire town together. At Crimson Lights, Sharon arranges a floral tribute. At Chancellor Winters, Lily takes on the burden of coordinating the public statements. Abby Newman, shattered and nearly catatonic, leans on Devon for support as she tries to explain to their son why his father won't be coming home. But while the town is subdued in mourning, a private jet touches down on the outskirts of Genoa City, carrying the one person whose absence has been felt the most, Jill Foster Abbott. The moment she steps off the plane in a sleek black trench coat and sunglasses, she's already on the phone barking orders. Get me the board. Now. I want everyone in that room in 1 hour. And find Billy. When Jill storms into Chancellor Winters' headquarters later that day, she's a woman on a mission, grief-stricken, yes, but fueled by a rage only a mother could wield. She immediately calls for an emergency meeting, where she makes it clear that Chance's death has left a void not only in their hearts but also in the structure of Chancellor Winters. She suspects foul play. Not necessarily in Chance's death itself, which is still under investigation, but in the series of decisions that led him to that fatal mission abroad, a mission he should have never been on. And she thinks Billy might have played a part in that. Billy doesn't show up to the meeting. Jill takes it as a sign of guilt. He's hiding something, she says to Devon and Lily. And I want to know what it is. The truth is, Billy has been spiraling ever since Chancellor Winters started hemorrhaging money on secret ventures, some of which were approved under questionable circumstances. Rumors are swirling that Billy greenlit a security deal that indirectly pulled Chance out of retirement for one last international job, meant to protect company assets abroad. That job turned deadly. Now Billy's ducking everyone, refusing calls, showing up drunk at society, and snapping at anyone who questions him. Lily tries to get through to him, but even she's shut out. Do you know what she's going to do to me? Billy hisses at Lily in his suite at the Grand Phoenix. She's going to crucify me in front of the entire board. My own mother. She's never trusted me to lead, and now she's got her excuse. She's grieving, Billy, Lily replies softly. We all are. But you can't keep running. She wants to blame someone, he says, voice shaking. And I'm the easy target. Back at the Chancellor estate, Jill walks through the empty rooms filled with memories of Chance as a boy. Tears stream down her face as she holds an old family photo, Nina, Philip, Chance, and her. It's clear that this isn't just about business. It's about the legacy she feels is slipping through her fingers. It's about the grandson she adored, the family name she fought to protect, and the son who continues to make everything more difficult. At the memorial service, Jill stands beside Abby and Devon. The ceremony is quiet, elegant, and solemn. A flag is folded and presented to Abby. Nina breaks down during her eulogy, and Victor Newman, who helped mentor Chance, delivers a powerful speech about loyalty, duty, and honor. But the entire town takes notice when Billy doesn't show. Whispers circulate. Nate looks uneasy. Even Jack expresses concern, calling Billy's absence a mistake he'll regret for the rest of his life. Jill doesn't wait long. She shows up at Billy's hotel suite just hours after the memorial. He opens the door in a wrinkled shirt, eyes bloodshot. You didn't even show up to say goodbye to your nephew, she says, voice trembling with disappointment. Billy turns away. I couldn't. I didn't have it in me. You didn't have it in you to show your face, or you didn't want to answer the questions? He spins around. Don't turn this into some performance, Jill. I'm grieving too. No, Billy, she snaps, stepping inside. You're running. Like you always do. He pours himself a drink, not meeting her gaze. I know about the Singapore operation, she says bluntly. I know you signed off on it behind the board's back. And I know Chance took that job to clean up the mess you created. Billy goes still. Was it your plan all along? She continues. Cut corners, outsource our security to shady consultants, and let Chance be the one to handle it? Was it just easier to send him into danger than to admit you were in over your head? He slams the glass down on the table. That's not what happened. Then tell me, Billy, she screams. Tell me what happened. Because my grandson is dead, and you won't even give me the decency of an answer. Tears stream down Billy's face now. I didn't know he'd take the job. I didn't know. Jill softens, for a moment. But you knew it was dangerous, she says. You knew something like this could happen. I was trying to save the company. Billy shouts, desperate. No one believed in me. Not you, not Devon, not Lily. I made one call, and it spiraled. I didn't know Chance would step in. Silence hangs in the room like fog. Jill steps forward. Then you're going to fix it. How? He whispers. You're going to tell the board everything. You're going to resign. You're going to make a public statement and take responsibility. Because if you don't, I will. And when I do, there won't be a company left to save. Billy slumps into the chair, defeated. I'm sorry, Mom, he says, voice cracking. I never meant for this to happen. I believe you, Jill replies. But belief doesn't bring Chance back. The next day, Chancellor Winters holds a press conference. Billy stands before the cameras, pale and shaken, admitting his role in authorizing the controversial deal. He accepts responsibility for the lapses in judgment that led to dangerous decisions. He steps down from his position and pledges to cooperate with the internal investigation into corporate mismanagement. Jill watches from the wings, arms crossed, face unreadable. After the cameras stop rolling, Billy approaches her. Do you hate me? He asks. No, Jill says. I hate what you did. But I'll never stop being your mother. As Billy walks away, Jill turns back to Devon and Lily. We rebuild, she says. We honor Chance's name the right way. And we never let this happen again. But as she stares out the window at the Chancellor building, she knows this is only the beginning. There are still questions about the deal. About who else was involved. About what other secrets Billy may be keeping. And as for the mysterious investor group that got Chance killed? Jill wants answers. And this time, she's not taking no for an answer.